Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Happy Gringo's podcast. My name is Jonathan Tapia. I am a sales and travel expert here at Happy Gringo. Today, we are very lucky because we have our good friend Diego Freire, who is joining us from Intrepid Travel. And today, we are going to be discussing a little bit more into what the actual experience is like on board of their two beautiful cruises, the Grand Queen Beatriz and the Grand Daphne. We'll talk about the onboard experiences, the animals, the wildlife encounters that you would have, activities, their sustainability practices, and also tips. Things that are very valuable for somebody that is trying to book the right cruise for them. Diego, thank you so much for taking some time to be in here. If you could please introduce yourself to the public and also let us know what your role at Intrepid is, please.
Thank you, Jonas, and thank you, Happy Gringo, for the opportunity to talk a little bit about Galapagos cruise experiences. And basically, I'm Diego Freire. I'm the sales manager at Intrepid Travel Ecuador. And my role is actually to get the best partnerships with the best travel agencies to attract more travelers to our beautiful Galapagos destination on board our cruises, like Jonas said, the Grand Queen Beatriz and the Grand Daphne. Our partnership with Happy Gringo has been incredible since we share the same philosophy. It's not only about selling trips, it's about crafting experiences that are memorable and the travelers will remember for the rest of their lives.
Thank you, Diego. All right, so first we'll dig into the actual experience. Before we talk about the vessels, I would like to know a little bit more about what an experience on board of these Galapagos cruises can be like. To be more specific, from your perspective, what makes a Galapagos cruise experience be so unique compared to other places in the world?
Well, everyone knows that Galapagos is a really unique experience. It's a living laboratory, actually. It's not really a destination itself, but it's about making a connection, a real connection with nature, where you will not feel like a tourist, you will actually feel a part of an environment. And this, when you see the sea lions that are playing right in front of you on the streets, and when you see the land iguanas, or when you see giant turtles when you are doing snorkeling, it's an amazing experience. You feel like you are truly in another world.
Yeah, that's right. I've had the luck to be there twice, and it's exactly what you've just said.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. So now I'd like to introduce and pretty much have you talk a little bit more about the cruise system themselves specifically. So now that we've talked about the experience, Intrepid Travel operates two boats, like I said, and you've said the Grand Queen Beatriz and the Grand Daphne, which are first class, premium type of boats. They're very beautiful. And could you briefly introduce each one and explain what makes them different from one another?
Okay, glad. We operate two vessels. Their capacity is for 16 passengers each. So our kind of experiences on board our cruises are more focused on more intimate experiences. You are sharing with just a small group of travelers. We share the same interest in wildlife as you are. And then, probably the main difference between our two boats is that the Grand Daphne is a little bit more exploration style since it reaches more remote islands such as Fernandina and Isabella. And the Grand Queen Beatriz has a focus on a little bit more on for a traveler that wants a piece of Galapagos, but not really like a long experience and wants to feel like the best part of it. So that's why it reaches the central islands that are like more closer to the ports on the cities.
Great, Diego. That makes sense. Now, if we can get a little bit more into the Grand Queen Beatriz, what does a typical day on board of the Grand Queen Beatriz look like from pretty much the morning to the evening?
Okay, I actually start by the traveling at night, since that's a very important difference in exploring Galapagos on a cruise, because the longer navigations take place at night. So every time you wake up in a different place, and that allows you for more efficiency in time, in terms of the time that you visit the destination, right? So when you wake up on board a cruise, you will open your window and you will see a beautiful landscape. You will feel like you are not in a hotel. You are right in the nature, right? Then you will have some breakfast. We cater for all kinds of food restrictions, so we always have one option for travelers. And then it's time to get ready for your first excursion of the day. It will usually start with a hike through volcanic islands, through very different out of this world landscapes.
That's right.
So, and then after that, you will get back to the boat. You will be welcomed by your crew with delicious snacks, refreshments, and then it's time to get ready for, personally, my favorite experience, the snorkeling. You need to get ready with your wetsuit, your equipment, and then you will set off on an experience on our Zodiacs, where you will have snorkeling experiences on assigned places.
Wonderful. Yeah, for me, my favorite part was the snacks.
Yeah, it's also for many travelers
And
as
I
well.
have another question here. What type of traveler would you say is a better fit for the Grand Queen Beatriz, since this one's a bit more premium than the other option that you guys have?
Okay, well, as I said, the Grand Queen offers an experience that is a little bit more relaxing, even though don't expect too much relaxing in Galapagos, actually. It's a very active destination. But there are some travelers that want more expedition than others. So actually the Grand Queen Beatriz would be perfect for the kind of traveler that wants to explore Galapagos, but not go too exhausting part. So it's at a good pace. It's a good pace. So.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Diego. So now let's move on to the Grand Daphne and its experience. Would you be able to describe the travel experience on board of the Grand Daphne? Which, like you said, there are some differences.
There are some differences. The Grand Daphne, as I said, has a more exploration feeling. That's the reason why the Grand Daphne explores more remote islands like Isabella, like Fernandina. And we usually explore on those very untouched areas. Like the Grand Queen Beatriz usually touches some towns, some parts that is part of our connection with the community. But the Grand Daphne allows you to explore very remote and inhabited islands, and that it gives you a more exploration feeling, actually.
Oh, great. So yeah, you would pretty much say that the Grand Daphne has more of like an expedition style, right?
Exactly, yes. If you want to get in the middle of the nature and without feeling that you don't have any human around, the Grand Daphne is actually the best for you.
And that's usually what a lot of passengers with us, they actually look for, to pretty much feel like they're completely disconnected from the outside world.
Yes, exactly. It's, even though Galapagos is a feeling for disconnecting, so you actually connect with nature more than with travelers.
Perfect, Diego. Now, let's talk about the itineraries. I know you've explained a little bit, but let's dig a bit deeper into that. For travelers choosing between the Grand Queen Beatriz and the Grand Daphne, how different are the routes? I know you mentioned you don't really go to towns and you go to more unexplored areas, but if you can tell me a little bit more about maybe the itineraries, their differences, please.
Sure. The Grand Queen Beatriz, as I said, touches a few of the towns in Galapagos, so we always have some activities that connect with the communities in Galapagos to help move the economy as well. And you will have a sense of relaxed exploration around the middle islands and the southeast islands. Whereas the Grand Daphne will take you to very remote areas, for example, like Fernandina and Isabella, where you could see, unique wildlife. Usually, for example, in the Grand Daphne, you would have the chance to see the flightless cormorants, the biggest flightless cormorant community in Fernandina, the biggest community of marine iguanas also in Fernandina, and also doing snorkeling with my favorite animal in Galapagos, actually, the Galapagos penguin.
That's great. So yeah, I'm pretty much getting the feeling that you understand that if somebody's more interested in endemic wildlife, they might want to choose one that goes out west, maybe to Isabella or Fernandina, right?
Yes, definitely that, because on the western side, the Fernandina and Isabella, you cannot reach it on a day tour, so you definitely need to get a cruise, on board a cruise to get there. And these kind of experiences make the trip very unique. It does not mean that when you go to the other southeast islands and just central islands, you will not see as much, believe me, I used to have that misconception, but whenever I went on the Grand Queen Beatriz, I have seen things that I have never seen on the western side. So it's actually, I always say that Galapagos never disappoints. No matter the route that you take, it never disappoints. It's just the matter if you are a traveler that want to see something specific, then you might choose one itinerary over the other one.
Oh, yeah, I like the way you think. It's the same feeling that I usually get. That yeah, the Galapagos is just a place where you can see wildlife everywhere on any itinerary.
Yes, in any
There's just some
itinerary.
small little differences that for some people it make a big difference as well.
True.
All right, so now I want to dig a little bit more into for someone who has never taken a cruise before, especially in a destination like Galapagos, what should they expect from the actual rhythm of the trip? Some people they have an idea that they may want to relax all the time, or some people they want to be active all the time. So what is the actual rhythm on a Galapagos cruise?
Yeah, I mean, I have heard that people say usually that they don't take a cruise because they want to take things slowly. And it might be somehow true, but it depends actually. You know, I think that on board a cruise you can explore Galapagos on a deeper way and the best way. You know, you can reach places, as I said, that you could not do on day tours. But also you can expect also a little bit of more scheduled activities, yes, because it's part of the Galapagos National Park regulation. But it does not mean that you are going to be like in a constant rhythm that every time that you need to do an activity, you have time to rest after the hikings, after the snorkelings. On the Grand Queen Beatriz, sometimes people prefer to relax on the hot tub, on the jacuzzi that we have on the sand deck. So, you know, it's something that you will have a chance to relax. I mean, don't feel like you are going to be on a tight schedule and waking up like 5 a.m. in the morning every time.
Like a boot camp.
Yes, like a boot camp. No, definitely you have chances to relax in Galapagos.
Perfect, thank you, Diego. Now I want to talk a little bit about something that we feel that is very important and something that I really want to get your thought on, which is one thing that really stands out about Intrepid Travel is your commitment to responsible tourism, to sustainable practices, and Intrepid is a certified B Corporation, and which is something that travelers are paying more attention to when they are looking for options. They want to make sure it's a company that's aligned with sustainability. In simple terms, what does being a B Corp mean to Intrepid Travel?
Well, as you said, travelers are nowadays more conscious about the destinations that they visit, and they want to feel that they are really making a positive impact with the trips. We are proud to be a B Corp certified company, and that means that it's a proof of our commitment to a sustainable and responsible travel that you said. We want to make sure that we work with, first of all, legal companies, reliable suppliers. In this case, like Happy Gringo, we use them as one of our value partners. Some travelers want to feel that they are contributing to make a positive impact with the trip.
Yeah, and that really leads to the next question that we have, which is from a traveler's point of view, how does choosing a B Corp certified company make a trip more meaningful to somebody?
And that's a good question, John, because sometimes people say, okay, this company is B Corp certified, but what does that have to do with me? So in our case, travelers traveling with Intrepid Travel, they can be sure that they are joining a company that operates responsibly in Galapagos, not only in terms of the operation itself, but also responsibly financially as well. We like to work with suppliers that share our vision of protecting in this case, a very sensitive destination such as Galapagos, are very unique. And sometimes, believe it or not, I have heard travelers that they say that they won't come to Galapagos because they don't want to overcrowd or they want to do the impact. It is true, but they can be sure that there are companies that we do our best to work responsibly. And travelers joining us, they can be sure that they are making a positive impact in a very fragile community such as Galapagos. And then they are helping us to use travel as a force for good.
Great, Diego. And now, if you don't mind, if I get a little bit more specific on what would be the actual sustainable practices that you guys have on board of the two boats.
Okay. Well, first of all, I would say that, for example, in the Grand Daphne, we have solar panels on the sun deck, and that help us, reduce the consumption of electricity and on fuel, of course. So that also helps, to reduce the CO2 emissions that we have. And for example, one other, we do both. Our tour leaders, our naturalist guides, are a very important part of our experiences, because they, in this case, that what has to do with sustainability, we try to educate our travelers about the importance of helping us. And we as Intrepid, we help the community, we help projects in Galapagos, especially through our partnership with the Galapagos Conservancy, which helps the project WISE, which is Women in Sustainable Entrepreneurship. So that means that we help projects like, there's one project that is called Upcycling in Santa Cruz, which is about Mayra. She's wonderful. I mean, she's in the project of recycling plastic from the beaches in Galapagos. And sometimes people would say that this plastic comes from the people of Galapagos itself, but sometimes there are plastical containers that come from all over the other part of the world.
Yeah.
And they collect them and they use this to create wonderful things like toys for kids. They also do jewelry, earrings, things like that, and that allows them to, they are funding themselves and is helping their communities. And also, these are projects that are for women who are not in travel-related businesses. So, if we don't do something to help them, possibly travelers would not have a chance to even know that they exist. That's and the work they do.
That's right. Yeah. Perfect. Thank you. Now we have a segment where we go over some frequently asked questions that we have from our clients, and also we would like to hear your travel tips. So please, first, how far in advance should travelers try to book the Grand Queen or the Grand Daphne?
Sometimes in general, I have heard that some travelers advise for last minute options.
Yeah, common, yeah.
And sometimes, it might be true probably in low season traveling, but to be honest, I would really recommend you to book in advance experiences in Galapagos, because usually when you wait for last minute things, you will have to settle with whatever is available. Whereas if you book with anticipation, you will have a chance to choose the things. For example, like I said, if you want to go to the west, the side is a very high rated experience, so you might be a bit late when you book last minute.
Yeah, we're on board of the same ship right there, because it's one of the most frequently things that I get when I'm on the phone with a client, and it's like, you want to run your luck, maybe you could get lucky, or you're coming all the way down here, you might as well go for the itinerary that you really want. And
true.
So that's great. Another question is, what do you think are the peak travel periods for Galapagos and a cruise? And personally, do you have any specific time of the year where you would recommend that people try to travel if they're flexible on their dates?
Definitely, Galapagos is a destination to travel all year around. We have travelers all year around, actually, but there are certain peak dates, such as probably March, April, as definitely are the number one visitor of Ecuador and Galapagos in general is the USA market. So usually we have a very busy seasons in spring break, May, April, and also in Christmas and New Year's. So if you want to come in those times, you really need to book in advance. Yeah. So otherwise you may find some spaces available. And probably I would say that a good time to come is on a transitional month, probably May, June, where we are changing from the very warm season into the colder season. So May, June, July is a good time to come.
Yeah, perfect. Another question is, what should travelers pack for a Galapagos cruise? yeah, people they don't want to bring a lot of stuff, but they also, since they're going to be on board for so many days, they don't want to miss on anything that they should have brought. So, what would be, a reference on what should they be packing for a trip in Galapagos?
Apart from, let's say, the regular options that people usually bring to a water experience destination or sand, like a beach, probably you have to bring insect repelling, very important, because whenever you go on the expeditions on the island, sometimes there are mosquitoes, and if you have a sweet blood, you might get a lot of bites. So that's something definitely that sometimes people forget. Of course, sun protection, sunglasses, very covering hat that allows you not to get burned to sunburn. And probably for the snorkeling equipment and the wetsuits, don't worry, because we have them on board, so you can coordinate directly with Happy Gringo with the sizes and everything, so we can provide you with that. And also, don't forget, if you really want, if it's a possibility for you, bring underwater camera. Definitely, you don't want to miss the experiences down there. Of course, you will remember them and they will stay with you forever, but it's always lovely, to see them and remember those times, because Galapagos is a destination that you will get to see again and again. And finally, bring an open mind. Don't bring any preconceptions, ideas about Galapagos, because Galapagos is a destination that wherever you go, it will amaze you, definitely.
Let Galapagos take care of impressing you, right?
Yes, let Galapagos take care of that.
Yeah, and it will. Another question here is, do travelers need to be in very good physical condition? Meaning, do they need to be very active, or are the activities sustainable for different travel styles for different type of people?
Definitely, Galapagos is a very active destination, and that's no lie. But it does not mean that if you are not in good physical conditions, you would not make it. Besides, you decide in what activities to engage or not. Because, for example, I have been in cruises many times, and I can tell you that sometimes I've been able to go all the way through the 6 days or 7 days or 8 days, even then, without any problem. I still consider myself that I'm not really an athlete, to be honest, but I can make it that. But there have been some other times where I've been in cruises for 6 days, and on the 4th day, I have decided to take one afternoon, one relax, and sometimes my fellow travelers have gone on the hiking or snorkeling. Well, I've been enjoying myself with a cocktail on the sun deck, admiring the beautiful Galapagos landscape.
Makes sense. I know you talked about the Grand Queen Beatriz and the differences with Grand Daphne, but in simple terms, if there's somebody that is still watching and is still trying to decide between one of these boats, what would be your main advice on how you think that would help that person make the right decision between the Grand Queen and the Grand Daphne?
I would probably say that if you have a very limited time in Galapagos, you are coming just for a few days, probably the Grand Queen Beatriz would be a good option for you, because we have 4-day itineraries, 5-day itineraries. So you can, even though you might not be able to be like 1 week in Galapagos, you could still get a good feeling on the Grand Queen Beatriz. And also, it will, as I said, it will allow you to relax a little bit. We have our jacuzzi, our hot tub in the sun deck. We have our crew that will make your stay really lovely. Whereas on the Daphne, if you have more time, like a minimum 10 days probably in Galapagos, you could get on the 8-day cruise on the Grand Daphne, and you will still have a really beautiful time exploring Galapagos.
Right, thanks. Now with some booking advices, and finally, would you recommend booking these Intrepid boat options through Happy Gringo?
Of course. Happy Gringo is one of the most reliable travel agencies that you can use. We have had a long partnership with them, and definitely they will craft the perfect itinerary for you. Not only getting you on our cruise experiences, which are amazing and unforgettable, but they will also be able to provide travelers with an itinerary about the rest of Ecuador, because you know Ecuador is not only Galapagos, it has so much to offer. It has a mix of wildlife, culture, history, and what other travel agency is best for that than Happy Gringo.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Diego, really for joining us and also explaining so many great things, giving us tips, and hopefully helping people, choose which one of these two great boats is going to be best for them. For anyone dreaming about coming to Galapagos with the Grand Queen, Grand Daphne, or doing anything else in Ecuador, because there's so much to do, please, you have our contact information below, so you can please reach out to us. We'll be happy to help you, myself or my other great colleagues. Thank you everyone for listening, and we'll see you in our next episode. Thanks, Diego.
Thank you. Bye.